Here we have this nice little article by CBS News. CDC reports decline in vaccine effectiveness, prompting booster decision. I'm Grid 7, and let's get into this article about how well the COVID vaccine is working long term, according to the CDC. We have new data being released Wednesday by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, warn of a significant decline in vaccine effectiveness against infection from COVID-19 in nursing home residents, as the highly contagious Delta variant of the virus causes a spike in hospitalizations among the mostly unvaccinated Americans. I like how they have to put this in the unvaccinated part, because they can't handle the fact that some people still are questioning it. But we'll go on down here. The release came as the Biden administration says it's preparing to offer booster shots to all Americans who got the Pfizer or Moderna vaccines. I was thinking cell phone there for a second. Sorry. Moderna vaccines 8 months after the second dose, beginning the week of September 20th. Given this body of evidence, we are concerned that this current strong protection against severe infection, hospitalization, and death could decrease in the months ahead, especially among those who are at higher risk or who were vaccinated earlier. If you were vaccinated earlier, you're going to need it. And what I'm reading here was, especially with this part right there, that's basically saying, it doesn't matter if you got vaccinated later on, you're still going to need this in 8 months. The research, to be released as 3 studies in the agency's Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report, show the vaccines still appear to remain effective at preventing severe illness and hospitalization for most people. In one study through July, doctors reported sustained high protection from severe COVID-19 requiring hospitalizations for at least 6 months after vaccination, analyzing data from the network hospital across 18 states. I'm not sure about this anymore, and the whole entire defending the vaccine. But when it comes to preventing infection from COVID-19, CDC researchers in another study turned up evidence suggesting immunity might be starting to decline among some of the more vulnerable Americans who were vaccinated earliest in the nationwide rollout, nursing home residents. In nursing homes, the effectiveness of the vaccines dropped to 53.1% during the surge of Delta variant cases this summer, the CDC calculated, down from 74.7%. Additional doses of COVID vaccine might be considered for nursing home and long-term care facility residents, wrote the study's author. In other words, you're going to continue to need the vaccine. And I will admit, this is one thing that needs to be studied right here. Long-term effects of the RNA vaccines. Is there a problem with them? Especially when you're going to be continually giving these out every year or so. No, we need to know if there's a risk. Because really, this is the first large-scale vaccine using this. I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be safe, but I don't know. A third study found the effectiveness of the vaccines against infection also appeared to wane this summer across all adults. Analyzing data from millions of fully vaccinated adults across health databases in New York, researchers found that the overall vaccine effectiveness dropped to 79.8% through late July. Effectiveness against hospitalizations appeared relatively stable as the Delta variant surged to make up more than 80% of cases in the region. Remember this little part right here. The study's authors reported, but overall effectiveness from the vaccines made by Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson against any diagnosed infection declined, in a finding consistent with those observed in other countries. Data from Israel, where authorities are already allowing a booster doses as Delta variant cases multiplied indicate a potential drop in effectiveness among its oldest residents. That's the same thing we're starting to see in the U.S. data. Though right now it still looks as if our vaccine protection is working really well. This is one of those things, if we'd gotten even 100%, this was coming. And I don't know if I said it here on this channel before, that they were going to go with boosters, because it wasn't something that, it's not like the measles or any of those shots where you get one and you're going to be immune for years. Now this is like the flu, where you're immune, where you have some protection for a little bit. Like this part, remember, was it in the surge make up 80%? The CDC now estimates that the Delta variant in the U.S. makes up some 99% of circulating SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID. So 80, 99. Cases and hospitalizations are reaching record highs not seen since the winter surge, with the agency recently warning that the spread of the virus was now high in all but 2 states. While some of the waning immunity appears to be from declining antibodies over time, Walensky said Wednesday that early data from the agency's cohort studies suggest the Delta variant was also to blame. So it seems like not long ago I did a thing where they were saying that the vaccine would protect against the Delta variant. And now this is kind of saying they're really not really protecting you from it. They can't make up their minds. These data suggest full vaccination in the context of the Delta variant may be correlated with less protection in SARS-CoV-2 infection than against prior variants. While the share of vaccinated patients in hospitals has appeared to climb in recent months, Biden administration officials have previously said that they were waiting to see convincing data demonstrating the need for a booster shot for the most fully vaccinated people. Officials urged Americans to wait for official recommendations as the CDC disclosed that more than 1 million people have already been tracked obtaining at least one unauthorized additional dose. However, federal health officials have also publicly acknowledged in recent weeks that a growing body of evidence suggests booster doses could be inevitable for at least some adults, beyond the immunocompromised people first authorized for additional doses last week. Yeah, I'm struggling with that word. Sorry. Vaccine manufacturers have also ramped up efforts to seek regulatory approval for more doses of their shots. The CDC must wait for the Food and Drug Administration to first authorize booster doses before it can formally recommend them. I think it was the Pfizer CEO who was saying that you were going to need a booster shot basically every year. And I remember doing that, I think, on some YouTube or some social media page. And the person I was talking with was like, no, we're not. No. And here we have it, right here. Pfizer recently announced it has submitted initial data demonstrating the safety and efficiency of a third dose to the FDA, with more data expected from its larger Phase 3 clinical trials. Moderna also plans to send data on its proposed booster after completing trials of differently sized doses. But the World Health Organization is concerned about the vaccine equity. Shouldn't everyone get 2 doses before we start giving 3? One of the FDA's top officials, Dr. Peter Marks, asked clinicians on a recent webinar with the Infectious Disease Society of America. Global health officials have called for rich countries to delay booster programs to at least the end of next month to enable at least 10% of the population on every country to be vaccinated. But what if it turns out that 3 is what you actually need to get the kind of durable immunity against COVID-19, said Marks. And if we don't do that 6 months from now or 8 months from now, when we won't be talking about the Delta variant more, we'll be on Mu or some other letter of the Greek alphabet. This is one of those things, the way I'm looking at more and more like the flu. We need to really start looking at things that will make the symptoms, No, especially if you think you have it early on, to go to the store. Now, go to your CVS. Go to your whatever your local little store is, and buy something like a ThoroFlu, Coldies, or whatever that will reduce the side effect, reduce the effects of things. So that, imagine if there was something like a ThoroFlu or something like that you could take when you first think you have it, and it reduces how long you have it. It reduces the symptoms. Chances are you aren't going to the hospital. You've reduced your risk for that. But they're so focused on this vaccine and trying to get cases down to zero that really, I think they're focused in the wrong direction. Because this is going to be around like the flu for every year. We're not getting rid of it. That's my take. What do you think? Let me know. Leave a comment. I'm on Rumble. Come on over there. Much more exciting. I'm on YouTube as well. And I'll see you next video.